Hi there.
Hello, everyone.
When we spoke last week, we spoke about me, the only person in this household having a calling, um, having a deep relationship with God, uh, and Matilda not having a clue what
And
she's
something
doing.
purposeful to be doing.
Yeah. But we said, as we spoke about it, we realized that to a large degree, we have a very narrow definition of calling,
Mm, mm. Or of
almost
purpose.
or of purpose.
Mm,
Almost historically,
mm,
um, we have this narrow view,
mm,
narrow definition of calling. And usually it relates to ministry, service to the Lord, whether it's priest, nun, pastor, missionary.
mm,
Those are the callings.
mm.
Um, and when something deep happens in your life, you commit your life to God and you do a work like that.
Yeah, yeah. So you sort of had a very traditional calling,
Yes.
and you became a minister, and then your life also took its turns, and it adapted to to something wider than that. So that
Mm.
you were busy with what really makes you feel alive, although it's still very much in that same
Yes.
vein,
Yes.
spiritual direction and retreat, being a retreat master, all of that.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, so for me, I never had something. I dreaded maybe being called to go on a mission to China and be a missionary.
Mm.
For me, that sounded like the worst thing that could happen to me. I was
Mm.
really scared as a teenager to be called for
Mm.
something like that.
Mm.
So I would say from a very young age, and I think it wasn't promoted. I wasn't advised to make a career of it, but it was my very deep creative urge to always be creating something.
Mm.
So from a very young age, that was in me. That was what I wanted to be with, do with. I wanted to use anything and everything that I could find.
Mm.
The things that I was exposed to through my mom. She sewed, she embroidered, she knitted and crocheted, and those things I picked up from her, and I could do all of them from a very early age, and I loved it.
And baking mud cakes.
Baking mud cakes, playing in the mud, all of that. So in that sense, I was always making things.
Mm.
That was the way I was
Mm.
playing.
Mm.
I would make dolls' clothes more than play dolls.
Mm.
So, but then growing up and being academically, I did well. I wasn't actually advised to make creativity, make art, one of those directions, say fashion design or anything like that, my career,
Mm. Mm.
because
That's
it was
wasting a good brain,
that's
eh?
wasting a good brain. That was sort of the idea that you got. So
Mm.
I went in a completely different direction, and it wasn't something that I enjoyed doing. And eventually, my life came round, and I was again creating.
Mm.
So I think in my case, the calling, if you could call it that, was to be creative,
Mm.
was to live creatively, to live from that with that intention to
Mm.
always be creating, to create a life, to and that very much went through dips and turns and
Detours.
detours, because I think that mindset of having to earn a living with what you're doing
Mm.
really wasn't helpful in living my life as a creative person.
And it's interesting later on, when you settled more into being a potter, there was even there this notion of it must generate an income.
Yes, definitely. because it's quite an expensive hobby.
Yes.
So to be busy with that, and also to be able to earn an income, I needed to earn an income.
Mm.
So, but I think what I'm more and more getting to understand and trying to live from is that my calling as a creative doesn't have to do with just one medium, with
Mm.
being a potter and making work that can be noticed and make me famous or that sell for a lot of money,
Mm.
but to live with anything and everything that I'm doing.
Mm.
To enjoy being creative because I
Mm.
love it. I love
Mm.
to bake bread. I love to pick an apple and do something with it. I
And
love to be
Pears
busy
making cider.
making apple cider vinegar. I even love mending socks.
Mm.
I love knitting. I love all of those things. So to be busy with that
Mm.
and to feel that satisfaction, that aliveness, very
Mm.
much, I think, for me, I am living the calling.
Yes. Yes.
It makes me feel alive,
Mm.
which glorifies God,
Mm.
according to Saint Irenaeus.
Mm.
So, yeah, and just to remember that because I fell again into the trap of not having a studio since we moved here and not being able to produce pottery.
Mm.
So it's very frustrating
Mm.
and I feel
Mm.
stunted. But there's such a lot more that I'm doing that's
Mm.
creative. And to always be reminded of that for myself. My intention is to live creatively.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And the thing is that creativity, um, even though it is not productive, even though you can't tie it to any church work as such, it gives joy to God.
Yes, I believe so.
Mm.
I believe the feeling of aliveness, the feeling of a day worth living
Mm.
is very pleasing to God.
And the other very important thing is relating to what is created. Whether it's clay that you take out of the soil, whether it is yarn, whether it's bamboo or
Cotton,
wool or
wool.
cotton,
Yeah.
it's there's a very strong element in your creativity of being involved with the elements.
Yeah, and the authenticity of things. I
Yes.
really, if I had the money and the means, I would not be using anything acrylic, anything plastic. I would be working only with linen and pure wool and silk, because that makes me, it really, on a deep, deep level, it feels authentic. It feels like I'm using what God put on this earth.
Yeah.
And that makes me extremely happy to be busy with that.
So it is very much busy with the work of God.
Yeah, with creation, with
Yes.
what's given.
Yeah. And carrying forth creation.
Yeah, and enjoying creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The raw material and what we make of it.
But aren't you just trying to make this spiritual all the time? Like the calling should be connected to to something spiritual, to religion. Because I think any life, and I think any life that is lived from that place of passion, of aliveness, of truly
Yes.
just, and it can be, I mean, not everybody is going to change the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And our lives can be very simple and we can be busy with, but if we come from that place, that authentic place, a deep sort of your true self, working with what's really there, I believe that energy of that is really magnetic in whatever form, in whatever you're doing, in whatever religion, in whatever setting. It is something that is just, it has the texture of something real.
No, but when I talk about it, uh, to play it off against mine,
Ah, okay,
where
okay.
where my calling was spiritual,
Yeah,
but
okay, yeah.
even if you just look on the surface, there's something very spiritual in what you are
Yes,
doing.
yes.
But you don't need to say, well, I'm doing
At
it.
least I am doing this for God.
No, 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 no.
I don't think that's necessary. I think just using what's been put in me, it just speaks for itself. So it's just to be reminded, to remind myself of that all the time. When I'm fed up with making food every day, or another sock that Rit got and chewed to bits, and it's like I don't need to be making pots. I can for today just be busy with cooking a meal.
I can be the maker of other things.
Yeah, or making a pamphlet for a retreat or whatever. I can have that enjoyment without feeling I should be busy with more important creations.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully it will come again. Hopefully it will also lead to that.
Yeah.
Because it in the end, I think one wants to put emotion. It's difficult to put emotion in a pamphlet.
Well, your pamphlets are beautiful.
But to put emotion or a feeling or a mood or something that I want to bring across in a clay sculpture. So, I suppose there's different levels again. So, yeah.
Talking, I'm realizing as I'm sitting here, my deeper calling was to be a bodybuilder.
Oh, really? Maybe you can tell us about it next time. How that panned out.
It didn't work.
Somehow I'm really glad.
And on that note, thank you very much. It's lovely to hear about your callings and how you've discovered it and how you live it. But we'll talk again next week.
Keep well, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.